Hello everyone, my name is Donna Vickers and I'm with Coldwell Banker La Costa in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Today we are at the Refuge of Hope. We are located in Bucerias, Nayarit, about 15 minutes from the airport. You're about to meet this wonderful couple from Canada. They are the founders of this remarkable Refuge of Hope. So without further ado, let's go meet them. All right, here we are inside the Refuge of Hope, and we're with Karen and Grant. Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your story with us today. And thank you all for watching with us. So, let's ask the first question. Where are you all from?
We are from, well, Grant's actually from Alberta. I'm from Saskatchewan. And we met in college, and we lived most of our life, raised our family just outside of Regina, Lumsden, Saskatchewan.
Wow, we were almost neighbors.
Yeah.
I'm from Manitoba, so pretty close. Okay, why did you all move to Mexico?
Well, about 10 years ago, we started researching someplace warmer. And so we looked at, well, first of all, we looked at Costa Rica because it's English, and then we looked at Nicaragua and some of the other places farther south, but then we decided we needed a place where it's easy to get to. And there's always direct flights into Mexico, particularly Puerto Vallarta from Regina and Alberta, so all the relatives can come visit. We didn't want to just have relatives visit once in a lifetime, so by picking a place. So we first came down to Puerto Vallarta, and then we ended up from there, we went to Nuevo, and then we started looking around the towns, you know, La Cruz, Punta Mita, and out of Sayulita. But we decided Bucerias was the place to go, so we eventually packed up and moved down here.
Oh, that's cool. And did you have any difficulties moving down to Mexico? What, 6 years ago?
6 years ago. You know, the immigration process was super easy for us. Everything that was difficult was of our own making, honestly. we brought way too much stuff. We made like 3 trips with all our belongings.
Wow.
And every one of those stories, there's a big story too. So we had some challenges, but like I said, they were all our own making. I wouldn't bring so much stuff next time, but the actual immigration process was really pretty easy.
That's good. Now, aside from the Refuge of Hope, what are some of your most favorite things to do while you're here?
Well, we like to eat out. So we eat out a lot. And it's really nice when you can go out and for under 100 pesos, you got your meal. That's like $5 US. We like beach sunsets. We do that quite often, go down and watch the sunset on the beach. Our whole life we've always volunteered at something. So, I mean, this gives us another opportunity both to start something and be at it all the time. So,
let's talk about your bold mission. Back in February 2020, COVID-19 changed everything. Bucerias got hit hard, so did all the communities throughout the Bay. While all this was going on, you all made a decision and make a mission to go feed the families. Food for families. Tell me more about that.
Well, we have a small golf cart rental business, and of course when COVID hit, all our clients packed up and left town. But they also had fridges full of food. So they said, can you get rid of this food for us? So we started taking food out into the community, and we soon discovered that there was a pretty big need. I mean, we do have a food bank in Bucerias, and other businesses as well saw the need. But we soon discovered that most of the businesses, the people had to go pick up the food. But we encountered a lot of single moms that had babies that couldn't get out to get across town, that were in trouble. So we decided, well, let's start delivering food with our golf carts. And so we put out some ads on social media, and next thing you know, the money started pouring in. So we started packaging up food and distributing it. We had a friend, Francisco, who had rental houses. Of course, he had no tenants, so he opened up his houses. We used that for central distribution, and then we had teams that would go out every day with golf carts and deliver food in the community. So.
We ended up in that like 10-month period, delivered like over 5,000 bags of food, 1,500 families. Probably about 300 of those families we delivered food every second week, third week. So it became, we became friends with people, and we began to realize what some of the really permanent problems were. It wasn't just about a bag of food. We began to realize people had a lot more problems, and we became friends with people in this community, and so
they got to not really depend, but they knew you all were going to be arriving.
Yeah, they knew we were coming. As soon as the golf carts would start coming down the street, the little children would be chasing us, and the dogs. We had a lot of people donate dog food and money for dog food, and cat food. So we also spent a lot of time distributing dog food and cat food. We ended up with 2 stray dogs living at our house because they just followed us home in the golf cart.
They could smell the food.
Yeah. So we were kind of helping everybody in the community, really.
So as long as everybody keeps giving their donations, you all are going to still be able to deliver food to the families.
Yeah, and we've been delivering food ever since then on a daily basis, but we're really looking for ways that we can really more permanently make a difference. So that's where we're starting to invest more of our resources, is in what do people need so they don't just get a bag of food or a meal, but they get a job and they can know that their children are safe while they go to work. So we're really, that's where our bold idea came from, is like, let's see what we can do besides just giving out a meal. Let's help people really get back on their feet. Let's give a hand, let's give some support where people actually need it. So that's where we are now.
And right now, we're inside the Hope Center.
Right.
The big dream. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this Hope Center?
Well, while we were out distributing food, we came across this building, which was abandoned and was in distress. Large building that drug addicts were squatting in, whatever. So we talked to the drug guys down the street, and they said, well, you can, we know some people who probably know some people who may know who owns the building. We eventually found the owner who was wanting to lease the building out because every time she leased it, it got destroyed. And there was really nothing much left in the building, that it had been stripped of everything. So we originally leased the building, then we decided it needs so much renovations it didn't work for us to lease. So we made an offer to purchase and started raising money for renovations. And we moved our food distribution up here and started distributing food out of here while we did renovations on the main floor. And then we go from there.
The renovations for this main floor cost you roughly around $10,000 US.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, between 10 and 15,000. We were so fortunate though, because Tequila Gardens was a restaurant that was also distributing food daily. They were going around in a van in some of the same communities we were, honking their horn, and people would come out to get food. Mm-hmm. And they had hot food, an actual meal. So their lease had changed where they were. They decided it was time to shut down. And so we kind of got a call out of the blue from Bruce over at Tequila Gardens, who was willing to donate all of his kitchen. So this is just when we were starting our renovations. He contacted us, you can have my entire commercial high-end kitchen, including all the appliances, tables, chairs, dishes, like everything we could need to start our kitchen. And so because of that donation and that partnership, we were able to start delivering food pretty much right away. We got the kitchen done first, and we were able to start delivering food every day out of the kitchen. And then we just started rushing to get the rest of the main floor almost done. We're not 100%.
Almost.
We've got most of it done. We've got the dining room set up. We could feed probably around 20 in there. We have a classroom, and we have 2 bathrooms on the main floor. We have an office, and then we have this other sort of another classroom. And with that in place, we were able to open our doors in April, I guess, to children with the intention of offering education, life skills programs, food, love, mostly love is what they want. A shelter for sure. Our intention is to continue expanding both with more children and with Saturday adult programs, probably some computer classes, English classes, Bible studies, cooking classes, whatever the women in this community would like. So we're working with the whole community to say, what do you need? And we're going to use our building every minute of every day that we can for that. So our first 10 or 15,000 is got the first floor basically done and got us into business with what we got going now. We got school going in the other room right now. Mm-hmm. But then Grant's got a lot of ideas for the second and third floor too.
We also realized we needed a piece of land that we could use for a playground, because you can't have kids without having a place to let them run around. We're lucky because we have a sports field right across the street, but we also need a place with swings and slides. So we have a tentative agreement to purchase the lot right behind us, and we have a donor that's going to match any donations for up to half of the entire purchase, which is around 400,000 pesos, and then whatever we need to finish the playground. So that's coming up very soon. We're going to be looking at that. The second floor, we've started renovations a little bit, though that's basically where we're going to house our dormitories. We could have anywhere from 25 to 30 kids up there, and also have house parents, accommodations for them, a large living area where you can have TVs, game room, that kind of stuff. That's kind of down the road. We'll be looking for, we're looking for electricians, plumbers, stuccoers, people that can do the inside work. We've talked to teams about coming down, but because of COVID, it still hasn't come to fruition where they could come down with skilled labor and with money to complete those renovations. We have a third floor here, which we can see the entire bay. We eventually want to put housing up there for mothers at risk, because quite often we have mothers that are running from a bad situation, trying to hide their kids, need a place to go. And so we'll have a couple of those up there, as well as a large recreation area. And eventually we can go up another story, according to the architect, I think, and duplicate. We are at the highest location in the town right now, so we have an amazing view from the roof up here.
And I love your logo.
Yeah.
I love the tree right outside the door, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
What about Gail's hearing?
So, Gael is a little boy. A little guy who we met 3 years ago, who was completely profoundly deaf, had never heard, and had never actually been to a doctor, so they didn't know why. And so we took up his cause and got some medical advice and found out that if he got a cochlear implant, he would be able to hear. So we started a big fundraising campaign. In a very short time, we had raised, I think it was $50,000 US. And he went to Guadalajara and got a cochlear implant, and he can now hear. And we've been working with Gael since then. We actually have a caregiver who cares for him 5 days a week. She goes to school with him. We have speech therapy a couple times a week for him. So that is also under the umbrella of Refuge of Hope, is helping Gael. So, everything we do is so that children can see hope, for a future. And so for Gael, we saw some stats. Deaf children in Mexico basically have a really hard time finding jobs, hard time with schooling. So he's our other little guy who we care for as well, and have invested in, committed to.
No, that's a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
If anyone was interested in being a Hope Hero donor, what can they do to help?
Well, already we have monthly expenses. We have full-time cook, teacher that's probably going to be coming on full-time, other teachers, and then we have, of course, our volunteers. But we have monthly costs, so we're looking for donors that can give $50 or $100 a month. We have a number of those already. Also, people that can donate for our renovations, particularly for the lot will be coming up next. We want to get that locked away and completed. And then eventually we have a couple years plus left to come up with the money to pay for the building. We've got a really good price because of the condition and stuff, but we have to pay it off, and then we can get the full title and that kind of stuff. So.
And you are a non-profit organization as well.
We're a Mexican non-profit. We have a partner in Canada where we can give income tax receipts through it's a church in Saskatchewan. And we're working with some groups in the States to try to get a partnership there so we can give receipts. We want to be able to give full income tax receipts. Any kind of donations, like everything in this building has been donated. And it's like a million little miracles every day. Like I say to Grant, oh my gosh, we have some boys starting next week. I have no boys toys, I only have Barbies. And then that weekend a lady shows up with a truckload of boys toys. Perfect. Whenever we need something, it comes. And so any kind of donations things we can sell to raise funds or things we can use in our home. You know, we go through a lot of food. We're feeding 14 children and all our staff every day, twice 2 meals a day we feed all our children. A lot of them aren't used to having lunch, dinner, and snacks.
We just had lunch. It was great.
Yeah, we had lunch.
Oh.
Yeah, and so, you know, they come in, they have breakfast first thing, go to school, then they have lunch, then they go to school, then they have the afternoon snack. So, you know, any kind of food donations are appreciated. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything you need at home, we need at our home, right?
Right. Well, this is a wonderful thing that you're all doing here with the Refuge of Hope. It's just wonderful.
You know, our name, Refuge of Hope, we threw around a lot of names and a lot of logos. You talked about our tree, but our vision is we want to be a place of refuge. So that's a place of safety for children who are in vulnerable situations. And we want to be a place of hope so that people, children who, you know, whose folks have just had a tough time can believe that they can get an education, they can someday have a job, they can someday, you know, care for their families. And so we want to be a place of safety and a place of hope. And that big tree is just a place where people can come under and feel safe. And so that's what we're doing, and we're figuring it out as we go.
And it's working out wonderfully.
And it's working out. And we have, you know, on the waiting list, we have moms every single day that show up at our door asking for help. And we have to send people away, so it's hard. So the faster we can get this all done, the less people we have to turn away.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to our viewers about following their dream?
You know, we talked about it a lot when we considered moving here. You know, my mom died young. And so if you have an idea to do something crazy like this, you should do it while you're young enough to enjoy it, while you still can have, you know, you wait till you're retired, you wait till you're older, and sometimes it doesn't happen. So do it while you can.
I'm here.
And when you get there, we've talked about when you get there, find something meaningful to do. It's not all about the beach is awesome. It's not all about the beach. Find something you're passionate about, find something meaningful, and jump in. Yeah. So that's our advice. Get down here.
Get down here.
And find something good to do.
So as you can see, relocating from Canada to Mexico is totally doable. We all know that, don't we? This amazing tropical lifestyle is waiting here for you. So come on and live your dream.